guys, I'm Ashley.
And I'm Rachel.
And together we are Girls Interrupted. So the other day, Rachel, I was at home and one of my favorite movies came on. And ladies, I know you've seen this one. He's just not that into you. And it made me, I don't know, I felt some type of way. Like I started thinking about all my relationships that I realize now after watching the movie and just kind of growing up and just going through different experiences that he just wasn't that into me, you know? And it's weird how I remember texting this guy who I was kind of interested in, and just mid-conversation, I'm like, hello, like where did you go? Like no response, no anything. And it's weird how that stirs something up in us where we feel like, is he into me? And then you start questioning and you drive yourself crazy.
Oh my gosh, Ashley, this reminds me so much of this horrible situation I had before I met my husband, of course.
Lucky.
I had a friend set me up with this guy who I'd never, didn't really know a lot about. Right. He was nice, but we met at a movie theater, which that's a bad idea. We met there, we couldn't really talk, we watched the movie, we leave. And it was kind of a mutual thing. I mean, it wasn't a great date and we didn't really get to know each other, but he never called me, texted me. He didn't make any attempts to ever see me again. And so even though he wasn't that cute and it wasn't that much fun, I found myself feeling really insecure and feeling like there was something wrong with me because I had never experienced a guy not wanting that second date before.
Or try to call or text and say, hey, I had a great time or anything.
And so the follow-up text. Yeah. I'm a lady, I always send the follow-up text.
Exactly.
If it's nice, if it's fun. And so the funniest thing, Ashley, is that even though I wasn't really that interested in him, there was something in me that felt like, oh, should I text him? Should I try and get his attention and try to, start something? And I had to stop myself because I was like, no, he's not trying. But does that mean he's not into me? Why does that bother us so much?
I think it's not necessarily the fact that he's not texting us, or maybe it is. I think it's more like our ego. We want to know that, okay, we have the last word and that he's pursuing us and he's chasing us compared to us chasing and pursuing them. Like I still believe that a man should court a woman and a man should actually pursue a woman.
Absolutely. And that makes me think of my husband because we've been married now for, half a year. And and so it's interesting because even though I know all of this, dating him was so different because he pursued me so much. He would call me, he would text me, he wanted to see me, and he's just not that into you. In the film, they say, if a guy wants to see you, he'll see you. And I used to think that wasn't true, but there's no trick, ladies. I mean, if a guy wants to see you, he's gonna make it happen. My husband really made sure that if I played it cool and was like, oh, I'm busy, I mean, he would be like, okay, you're busy tonight. What are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing 3 days from now?
And to piggyback off of that, like you said, oh, I'm gonna play the game of I'm busy when you're really not busy, but he still actively pursued you. And I think that's the difference, you know what I mean? Where it's not this game back and forth, but if a man really, really is into you, he will actively pursue you and chase you until he gets you.
Yes, and you deserve that. I think as women, we care about the communication and we care about being pursued, and it's an important part of feeling value in our relationship. You don't want to be with a guy that you felt like you had to chase down, get down on your knees and beg him to be with you, but a guy who actually just wanted to be with you because he saw you as someone worth pursuing.
So speaking of you being married, what were some tips that we can give to our audience and our lovely ladies out there where you knew that he was into you?
So I knew my husband was into me because he was good at communicating. He would respond to my messages. He would return my phone calls.
He didn't do that whole, I'm gonna call and wait like 20 minutes and then I'll text back.
Exactly, no game. I tried to play the game, but he was not playing the game and it worked. And also, he really made sure that he could actually see me. It was important to him to take me on actual dates and take me on adventures. We call them adventure days. He would take me out, do something interesting or romantic rather than just calling me, have you ever had a guy just call you late at night? He's not gonna cook you dinner, there's no date, it's just him expecting you to show up.
Or you should come over and let's hang out. And it's like, what's hanging out at 11 o'clock when you know that I'm not gonna sleep with you? So it's like, what's the purpose?
Exactly.
Sometimes the work does play into the scenario or the situation, but if it's a constant thing where they're not making any time to see you during the day or take you out to lunch or a picnic or the park or something that's outdoors and not just inside, he's just not that into you.
Yeah, exactly. It's lazy and there's not a lot of pursuit happening. But have you guys ever experienced, wondering if a guy's actually into you, or do you have a success story? Leave us a comment because we would love to hear from you.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching Girls Interrupted.